Welcome, fellow Jedi and Sith. You are tuning into Imperial Radio, your all-talk weekly Star Wars podcast. I'm your host, Kobe Larson.
Along with your other host, I am Alex Wormstead.
And today, it's kind of a holy shit, the sequel. I mean, not quite as big of a shit, but a decent-sized shit, I would say.
Yes, like a girl shit.
Like a girl shit. Oh, God, we're starting off strong. Dude. Wow. The Mandalorian, we kind of talked about it a little bit, but Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 6, Episode 14 in total span. Wow. I mean, spoiler warning for obviously. I mean, it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
So, you're
if you are
behind
listening to us, I am sure you are on social media, and therefore you have already spoiled it.
I was going to say, dude, oh, man. I've been fortunate because, I have been watching the new episodes on Fridays on my lunch break. I'm as passionate a Star Wars fan as they come, but I'm also one of those people, I have to sleep. Like, I can stay up, 12, 1 o'clock, maybe 2, but I got to be, falling asleep by 2. I can't do the staying up till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, depending on what time, where you live.
I can't stay up till midnight anymore.
Well, I know you're a boomer, though, but I can't do, some people, I'd understand if you're, in high school or something, or you're in college and you had class, that's not that big of a deal, but to stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning and then watch these episodes, which are so mentally you have to grasp it mentally anyway. And then to try to fall asleep after that, it's how could you even do that? I can't do it.
I can't.
I haven't tried it, I guess, but I just know I couldn't. I know I couldn't do it. But yeah. So I've been watching them on my lunch break anyway. And dude, the spoilers, man. So those first 4 hours of work when I'm kind of yeah, Mandalorian. But I always have a little bit of free time, and I'll go on Twitter or something, and go on the Imperial Radio Twitter, which is obviously set to all things Star Wars, the people we follow and everything. And man, I've almost got spoiled a couple times. There will be something kind of ominous, and I'll see it, and I'll be like, oh, yeah, no, not doing that. Not close Twitter immediately. But then I get those itchy fingers, you know what I mean? I wanna be on social media and that, or I want to be able to do stuff, but it's damn, I don't want it to get spoiled, especially when you know what's coming and all the big stuff that's about to happen. Man, but so yeah, spoiler warning ahead. For Mando Season 2, Episode 6, Episode 14, The Tragedy. What did you think when you first saw that come up on the screen there, the title card? Sir Alex.
Well, I was actually this weekend. I didn't have the luxury of watching it right away. I watched it Sunday afternoon. Okay. Probably around 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock.
Okay. Oh yes, because you were hunting.
Yeah, I went on a hunting safari out to a different region that I don't normally hunt. So I had 0 cell service. I roughed it pretty good. I actually stayed in the pickup.
Nice.
Stayed in the pickup. It was quite cold. But I was scrolling through Instagram, which I knew I shouldn't. I mean, I was doing the same thing. I'm like, I don't want to spoil anything for myself.
Right.
I'm going to go on my For You page on Instagram, which I've been made fun of for.
Why's that?
I don't know. My girlfriend says, who does that? And I'm like, I thought everybody done it.
Oh, you mean
Yeah, where you go to search people, but you just find posts. Anyway.
Those are awesome, though, because all the posts are catered directly to whatever one you click on, you're going to see posts like that.
Yeah.
I know, it's great. It's basically like TikTok, but for Instagram.
Yeah. So I went there, and it's basically split right in half. It's got hunting, and then it's got Star Wars.
Yep.
And I'm like, stay away from the Star Wars. As much as you want to get into it, don't even go into it. I clicked on some hunt stuff. I'm scrolling through. All of a sudden, in the middle of this For You Instagram, I get a Star Wars one in the middle of probably 100 hunting posts.
Yep.
And it just says, wow, it just had the episode and then said The Tragedy. So I knew what the title was before I watched it.
That's rough.
It was rough. So
you can about imagine. Yeah.
So then when I watched it, it was just a confirmation that it was called that. And I was like, oh, no. I wonder what happens.
Yeah, wow.
It wasn't like a... I didn't know everything about it, but I did know the title of it, which I kind of knew what it was gearing towards.
Yeah,
but
it's like a half spoiler. I run
Yeah.
into those a lot. So most people are pretty good about spoilers, but they'll kind of some people's definition of what is a spoiler and what is not is really varied. I mean, some people are like, and some people's time frames too for spoilers. Like, I try not to spoil stuff as much as I can, but everybody's idea of a spoiler is so different. I mean, some people like showing shots of like the episode or like like the title card or whatever. They're like, that's not a spoiler, it's just the title card. But it's like
the title card says a lot
to
in The
some people,
Mandalorian,
especially in the Mandalorian. It's I mean, it's about as dead on as it can be. I mean, like the last one, the Jedi, if that got leaked before the episode came out, before we knew obviously what was coming up, we would have known immediately. Like, we're gonna see a Jedi, and most people probably would have assumed it was Ahsoka.
right?
It's like,
I mean, if you go back
some
and look at
stuff is
literally
just,
every single title card of The Mandalorian, it has 100. I mean, obviously, it has 100% of what the episode's about, but it says a lot about what you're watching in the episode. Like, go back to season 1, episode 1, The Mandalorian, right?
Yep.
And it's just about him because Baby
Right.
Yoda is not in it till the last 10 seconds.
exactly.
But then the next episode is actually called The Child.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, just put that in perspective, how much it says. And then, like season 2, episode 1, The Marshal.
Right.
And it wasn't all about the Marshal, but I mean, it was. I mean, just the tragedy. I knew something was coming. Other than the title card, I had no idea about the episode, but the title card did give a lot away.
Right, and which you would be thankful that was the worst it got, I guess. Would be what you would say there. Sorry, I'm kind of adjusting my chair a little bit. So with the episode, right, let's just kind of get into it. Let's just start. I mean, I know, like last episode, it's going to be so hard to stay on track and so hard to, just stay on target.
Yeah.
God, I got to, like, cut that out and make that a sound as much as I'm going to have to start saying that. Let's just start off right away. I mean, I was surprised that right away they just grabbed the bull by the horns and, like, screw it. There's Tython. There it is. All right, let's land this thing. I'm like, whoa, we're just big balling it right into Tython. There was one thing before they get, because most everything is obviously on Tython in this episode. But there was that little part before when they're on the Razor Crest and Mando keeps like talking back to Grogu, and he's like, when I find this Jedi or whatever, you're gonna have to go, and you're gonna have to be okay with it, and he's like saying all this stuff, and obviously Grogu's not gonna talk back or anything, but like you get this sense that like Mando's sitting there saying all this stuff. It's like the scene in the movie when like the stereotypical just scene where like you gotta like they're trying to get something, usually like an animal or someone, to like go and like, just go on, just go, get out of here, and they're like crying. It's like that really, it was like that to me. It was like that, but obviously it wasn't making him leave or anything. But at the same time, you're also like, I don't think he's meaning to say this to reassure Baby Yoda. I think he's trying to say this to reassure himself.
I agree.
You know what I mean? He's starting to get sad about it, and it's kind of sad. But that was like kind of the first little thing, just a little tiny little thing that I really enjoyed, was that sentiment right there, just like, you're gonna have to leave me, and you're gonna have to, it was kind of sad.
Yeah, it was, and that's what I got from the Jedi episode when he was going back there, and they kind of played that softer music, and he was holding him and everything.
Right.
And I don't know, it makes you kind of wonder what they're gearing up towards with that.
Well, and my thing is like this. Eventually, Baby Yoda has to... The Mandalorian and Baby Yoda have to be separated at some point. Like, and that could mean so many things. That could mean he finds a real Jedi besides Ahsoka to take to take this kid, which I think at this point they've already gone the Jedi route. I think he's going to try something else, but either he's going to hand him off to a Jedi, or maybe he ends up going, we need to find some more Yodas, man. We need to find some more of your species and wherever you call home. Or maybe it means he, Din sacrifices himself to save the kid. Somehow, some way, Grogu, because his story's not done.
No.
I mean, they have so much potential there. I mean, he could be hiding out the whole sequel trilogy, and then when they kind of revamp and get into the beyond the sequel trilogy, 60, 100 years after Return of the Jedi, I mean, you're talking Grogu's still around, and he's just getting into the prime of his life.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's still probably a young adult.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In Yoda years. But that to me, that's kind of end game for the character. The character of Baby Yoda, of Grogu, is bigger than the Mandalorian itself. And I think they're, at somehow, some way, obviously, they're going to get separated somehow.
Yeah.
Whether it means Din dies, whether it means he hands him off somewhere, whatever has to happen. It's going to happen, and no matter how it happens, it's going to be super sad. And I'm not ready for it, man.
It's going to be crazy sad. It's going to be probably one of the most, how do I want to put it? Looking back on it, once it's done, it is going to be one of the most iconic separation / possible death scenes from a TV show.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking greater than Sons of Anarchy deaths, Breaking Bad deaths, Dexter deaths. I mean, we're talking big.
We're talking big stuff.
We're talking Emmy or not Emmy.
I don't know if the Mandalorian would get an Emmy. I don't know how that works.
I don't know. We're talking award-winning
so.
TV shows.
Right.
And,
the big players. I gotcha.
The big times, the TV shows that
in movies
that majority of people have watched. I mean, it's going to be most TV show, I feel, if you get attached to a character in 3 movies and you feel that pain and that death, right?
Right.
Imagine, like a TV show, and you have multiple episodes, which eventually add up to a lot more movie time. You feel for a TV show character more than a movie character, and that's my opinion on that. And that's why it changes so much about
a
Ahsoka.
long-standing TV show character.
Yeah,
I agree.
Like an Ahsoka.
Right.
It changed a lot of perspective on Anakin, I think, for prequel Anakin.
Mm-hmm.
Obi-Wan was always the big-time character, but Clone Wars has really...
Well, right.
I mean, he was already at the top of the mountain, but then all of a sudden he just took Mando's jetpack and he found a higher mountain.
I guess. Yeah, dude, I mean, that's so true because, you look at, you take, a movie character Han Solo, right, dies in Episode 7. That's just the first one I could think of. A beloved character who made his debut over the course of, at the time, 4 movies, 5 if you count Solo, which wasn't even Harrison. Most people, we're talking Harrison Ford, though. We're not talking necessarily so much Han Solo, but we're talking Harrison Ford, Han Solo. A beloved character who is, a top 5, probably top 3 Star Wars characters in the eyes of most people.
Oh, yeah.
Gets killed off, right?
Probably a top 10 well-known character just off picture, I would say.
Yeah, I would agree. Gets killed off in Episode 7 in a perfectly fine way to me, I guess. But these, people were sad, right? Well, okay, you take someone from a TV show, say Din Djarin dies in the next 2 seasons, towards the end of the show or something like that. That's going to hit people harder because at the end of the day, Din Djarin will have more screen, more fleshed out interaction, more development than Han Solo or Luke Skywalker or anybody ever did.
Right.
Because they had
right, and that's
X
what I'm getting
amount of
at
time
is
versus,
that
right. It's a time difference.
You
man.
actually feel like you know these guys a lot better because you've seen them more. I mean, you might have seen the movies as many times as you'll see these guys, because you've
Right.
watched the movies over and over again, but you're not
But
getting a
there's
new.
so much
You're not
more
getting new
there in a
content,
TV show.
right? You're getting the same old stuff, and there's gaps in between that. Whereas there's no gaps.
No,
you are learning as. I mean, you are learning as Mando's learning, and
exactly.
it's just you get so much more out of a TV show than you ever will out of a movie. And that's for anything. And I mean, I've heard people say that Mando, I mean, this is early on though. And I heard someone say that Mando would have been a better movie.
Incorrect.
I
disagree totally.
I disagree as well.
There's
and
no way.
I'm sure that now everyone who might have thought that is in total. I mean, they don't agree with that anymore. And if they do still agree with that, then
I don't know what you're thinking.
Then I don't know what you're thinking, and I would like to have a conversation and understand
your thought process.
Yes.
Exactly, because I mean, you ever see the meme where it's like two astronauts looking at the Earth from space, and it's the dude, and he's like, "Wait, Star Wars was always better as a TV, or Star Wars is better as a TV show," and it's the guy with the gun behind his head, and he's like, "Always was, man." And then it shows the Clone Wars and Rebels and everything. It's like, dude, Star Wars. Don't get me wrong. I'm still of the mindset that I would rather have a trilogy or a Star Wars movie. I'm always going to be more excited for a movie. Don't get me wrong. But there's just something so great, and there's just something about Star Wars TV shows that it's so hard to miss. Whereas it's really it's not easy, but it's definitely possible to miss on a Star Wars movie. You know, because you only have the Rise of Skywalker. I think if you add half an hour onto that movie, it immediately becomes a couple points better in my book. You know what I mean? If it's like a 4 out of 10 to me, which is probably about what it is. You add another half an hour and use it wisely, use it as you should in that movie. It's automatically probably a 5 or 5.5 out of 10 for me, because there's stuff missing there. There's always something missing in a movie. There's always something missing, and there's going to be stuff missing in The Mandalorian, but there's just so much. I mean, you could never do what you're doing with The Mandalorian as a movie. I mean, it just wouldn't work. And if they tried to do what they're doing right now as a movie, it would not be half as good.
Well, that's the thing. People that are saying they'd rather have a movie, please just say this. I mean, what about this is not just basically one ginormous movie?
It essentially is. It's just in a better format.
I mean, even we go down to the bare bones of any TV show / movie. The CGI, effects, writing, props, everything within this.
Movie quality.
It's beyond some of the movies.
I agree. Some of the stuff,
the stuff that is in Mandalorian is leaps and bounds better than a lot of the stuff in the sequels. Not everything. A lot of the stuff,
agree.
Though.
On half the budget.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. Probably
and you're getting
not even half the budget. That's just me saying. I mean, it's probably a tenth of the budget.
Probably.
You know.
And there's more profit margin with that. And, I mean, it's just all around. The story is one story. There's side quest, which you can do in a TV show, which is awesome. You don't get to see side quests.
And if you see that in a movie, you end up with Canto Bight. You end up with, Anakin saving his mom. You end up with the Falcon flying through an asteroid field for an hour. It's like it happens, and they happen. Don't get me wrong, but they're not as effective. A Mando side quest is interesting. It's always interesting.
Right. It's not. It's not just
right.
boring part of the movie.
It's
that's what it is.
It is. I agree.
The way I see it, a movie should take place as in Din Djarin found Grogu. Then, within the next couple of minutes, instantly after that, we've got Moff Gideon trying to take him over. He escapes somehow, movie format. Then we've got him taking him, and then for the final wrap of the movie, we probably got a big fight going on, and someone dies.
Right, and that would be so.
That'd be so boring.
Watered down.
Think of how much you've missed there.
There'd be cool parts of it. Don't get me wrong, but that'd be so watered down. And you don't get that. One of the greatest things about The Mandalorian is that week in between each episode where it's like, whoa, what's going on? What's going on?
What's going on?
You
like
get
right
that.
now, you're probably sitting there going, what in the hell is
absolutely.
baby? What is Grogu doing?
Absolutely. And you look at, okay, you have a trilogy of movies. You get that twice. You get that after the first movie. I guess if you know about the first movie, you get it before the first movie, but you get it after the first movie and after the second movie.
Yep.
And then it's done. Those are the only in-between times you get.
Yep.
There's only waiting times you get. Besides, oh wow, we tangented on that one.
Yeah, we did.
But
we did.
No,
it was well deserved.
It's necessary though. It's
was needed.
I was over here freaking about ready to chop his skin off with a knife.
I'm itching.
You're making me nervous, man.
I'm itching.
You're making me nervous as a guy who has cut himself rather stupidly. That sets off my spidey senses a little bit. Anyway, okay, so they get to Tython, right? And we talked about this before the show. This is not something I'm critiquing. I'm not critiquing this at all. No. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
I thought it was awesome that they brought Tython in.
I'm not critiquing this. I just want to point out, me personally, I was a little, I don't even want to say disappointed because, like, I wasn't mad. I get it. I respect the decision, but, like, my own personal, I know, my own,
and I know I shouldn't.
Like, my own personal head space was like, God, they're going to go to Tython. I'm thinking, like, there's going to be like a big temple in the background, and there's going to be like giant Jedi statues, and you're going to know that there was a Jedi temple there, like it was the real Jedi homeworld.
Yep. And
they kind of get there, and it's kind of just like a desert. It's kind of just a little bit of a desert, you know what I mean? And there's one rock formation which was pretty cool, the Seeing Stone as they call it. I was expecting like Tython, like from the games, man. I was expecting.
Right. I was expecting. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I was expecting, this crazy. I mean, more beautiful than Coruscant,
right?
Jedi temple, and
old, old and abandoned, but in a way that looks beautiful.
Yes.
You know when like you ever seen like an old abandoned building, but it looks like rustic and like it looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
But that's what I thought it would look like.
Yeah,
like the Yavin
a good
temple.
Old, yes.
You know what I mean? That's kind of what I was expecting, like a Yavin type temple.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting.
Very nice. It's run down, but in a good way.
Yeah.
In a nostalgic, ancient way.
It's like a Mayan ruin.
Yes, a very Indiana Jones-esque,
That's what I was expecting.
Boulders and everything,
Yeah.
And the one guy on the spike, and he's like, oh, damn.
But
I want to watch Raiders of the Lost Ark sometime, dude. I haven't watched that in so long. Anyway.
Yeah, I thought that we could have gotten a little more out of Tython, but I'm not complaining about it.
No,
I'm glad that we got
Tython.
Tython.
I am not complaining. I understand that this show, I mean, that was filmed, it was filmed in Death Valley. We were just talking about that before the show. Al, you want to talk about your little deal? Because I forgot about that, and that was interesting.
And I've been thinking about it pretty much every episode since, this summer, if you remember, there was I don't remember if was it on TikTok or was it on Instagram?
I don't remember where it was at.
I don't remember.
I want to say it was TikTok.
I want to say it was TikTok too. There was I believe it was a woman, and she said, "Hey, I was out hiking in Death Valley." I believe is what she said. Now I could be wrong, but from remembering, I believe it was Death Valley. And she said, and I was just checking this out, and she walks over this cliff, and she's still recording, and there's probably 25 stormtroopers just hiking around and running around through this kind of desert / oasis with some like some shrubs and rocks.
Right.
Very similar to what we just seen in Tython.
Yep.
And we believe that this is confirmed probably the last episode, unless something happens within this week's episode. But I believe that footage was from this last episode.
from episode 6. I think so too, and
I believe so.
How? Yeah, I almost want to say, wasn't that like before The Mandalorian aired at all, or was that during season 1? I swear I saw that. I swear I saw that TikTok or that Instagram or whatever that was.
I believe it was this. It was around the time the Clone Wars was still running around.
So Mandalorian had been out.
I
swear I thought I saw that
in the
before
video.
I knew Mandalorian was a thing, and I'm like, the hell? Like,
yeah, no, because I seen, because she said this is probably for, I don't know what it's for yet, but it does look like it's movie quality production out here, and it was for Mandalorian season 2 or whatever. Is what
Yeah.
she was speculating
Obviously,
because that's the thing. I completely forgot about this now too until I started talking about it.
Okay.
In the video, she says that she actually got kicked out because they caught her.
Yep.
So we were talking before the episode, and we said I'm surprised that no one's seen Boba Fett in this footage.
Right.
But that's why is because
they're like, nah.
She got kicked out, and they were probably like, whatever you. Maybe they're probably like, let me see what you recorded, and you can use this footage, but not this footage.
Right. Yeah. She probably recorded a lot more. They're probably like, here, you can use this. I could totally see that, dude. I mean, but what would you do? I would probably do the same thing.
If I went out there and seen that.
Right. Well, I mean, like I would do the same thing if I was her. I would do the same thing if I was the guy going, you got to delete some. You got to delete some of this. I would have paid her and been like, here, you take this money, delete at least that, and then cut out, trim out stuff you don't want people to see. But that is a nice way to like kind of like fake behind the scenes stuff where they're like kind of get you hype, but they control it, a little.
So and who knows? Maybe that person was even freaking part of the set.
Yeah, that could have been totally. Could have been fake hype.
It could have been fake hype because. Let's be real. That type of stuff is so great
totally
for publicity.
There is literally like fake leaks that come out. Like Star Wars, every year, Star Wars media dies off a little bit, like in the summer when there's nothing going on with Star Wars. And so, like, I remember there was all these things about like fake leaks, like, for Rise of Skywalker, there would be like this. I remember a big one actually that came out was for The Last Jedi, and they're talking about this huge, like, this is a leak straight from Lucasfilm. They said some heads are going to roll when they figure out who the hell did this, but apparently this is real news, and it was this big leak for Episode 8. I remember reading it, and I'm like, damn, and it was like in the middle of summer. But I think they do that on purpose so they can, like, here, give them this freaking garbage that isn't true, but it'll get people talking about Star Wars a little bit. Get them, because Star Wars dies, like, every year. It's like the heart rate monitor it's going doop. Okay, well, it'd be like doop, 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 doop. And it just it doesn't quite flatline, but it like, you know what I mean?
There's the months of
there's just
October. Well, now with Mandalorian, it's kind of, I mean, October, it really spikes up.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
Then Christmas time, obviously. Christmas time, it spikes up.
I wonder what it's going to be like since there's no movie this Christmas time, but whatever, I guess. Just think about it. Last year, this time, we were waiting on going to Rise of Skywalker whenever that came out. Shit. Okay. So they get the Tython. Yeah. Grogu. Mando's like, all right, puts Grogu on the Seeing Stone, and at first he's kind of just sitting there. He's like, all right, go.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and then. Whatever, they go back and forth a little bit, and he's like, "Come on, you're supposed to know what to do." And he's like, and he doesn't know what's happening. And then all of a sudden, my favorite part of the entire episode, and I don't know why, because I'm not even that big of like a Boba Fett fanboy, a Boba Fett boomer, whatever you want to call him. I'm not trying to trash people that like Boba Fett. I like Boba Fett.
Oh, I like Boba Fett.
But
too.
there's something about there's that certain type of Boba Fett fan. It's not all mega Boba Fett fans, but there are those ones that are just like, it's like they don't even like Star Wars. They just like Boba Fett. Like, it's their whole personality.
Yep.
I'm not one of those people, but I felt like one of those people for about 5 seconds because when Slave One first frickin' flies by, I'm like, holy shit, I didn't even think about Slave One.
Yeah.
I'm like, that was my favorite part of the episode. And it was so brief, and it was just when it freaking flew by, and it was like movie quality, dude. Oh man, that was my favorite part by far. And that wasn't, it was something so small, but it was favorite part. It sent shivers down my spine. I was like, that was a holy shit. I mean, it was a holy shit. But Boba or whatever, Slave One lands, and he's like, "Kid, we gotta go, and then he looks back and freaking he's. Oh, did you see how he was sitting like full on freaking like Buddhist monk?
I know,
like legs, like almost like legs crossed with the like literally was doing the 3-finger thing. I was like, that is so cheesy but so adorable at the same time. He's just like, that was adorable. Yeah, and then he's like, "Oh, we gotta go," and then Mando's like, "Whatever, I'll buy you some time," and goes down there, blasts around a little bit, and then we get to see Boba Fett live and in the flesh, and without not just a cameo. I mean, this man is
He's
alive.
He is alive. He is well, and
Well, he's well-ish.
yeah. Well, here's the thing. I've been waiting for this for a while.
Yeah.
People that think that was Rex, you're an idiot, and I'm so glad I get to say that. You're so stupid. You're stupid.
Somebody thought that was Rex?
Yeah,
Who
people
thought it was Rex?
Oh, people on social media. Not anybody I know.
Oh, I know that, but
There's people on social media.
how do you know enough
It's
about
Rex.
Star Wars to know who Rex is, but you don't know?
No, that's the thing.
Don't
They're just
understand that it's
they were
Boba.
overthinking it so much. Oh, Ahsoka's in it.
That was Rex?
They don't.
Could you imagine,
God, they're
dude?
so stupid. He's got a white beard. He fucking died on Endor.
Could you? Oh, I actually no, he didn't. What?
He probably died on Endor.
I don't say that's not confirmed.
That's
Stop
not
it.
confirmed.
Stop it.
He probably died.
He might have, but
Probably died.
But anyway, dude, it was.
What a bunch of frickin' morons.
It was Rex. It was Rex.
God. So
Oh,
glad.
look right behind him. That's Gregor. That's dude. I forgot. Gregor dies in Rebels. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I was watching back and I was like, I miss shit all the time. Like I was like, Gregor just died. He got shot in the chest and freaking died in Rebels. I didn't even realize that, man. I don't think Wolf does though. No, Wolf lives.
Yeah.
Those are kind of big characters to not do anything with, like Wolf and and stuff like that. Rex, I kind of understand saving him, but I would have thought Wolf and Gregor would have died, just because they were so old, and it's like you can't really do anything with them post Rebels because they're gonna be so old.
Oh, extremely. Old.
It's literally gonna be like the nursing home, a Star Wars story.
Exactly.
What? I wanted the bran, not the oatmeal.
We're gonna eat good tonight. First episode, they're back.
Yeah. So, Fennec Shan's still alive. Kind of, whatever. People are kind of freaking out about that. I was like, whatever. I mean, she's cool.
Yeah.
She's a cool character. She's definitely cooler than like Zori Bliss.
Yeah.
They're like the same exact thing. They have a face shield that comes down just enough so their eyes can see out, but I like Fennec Shan more. I'll tell you that.
I do too.
I thought Zori Bliss was kind of probably one of my least favorite parts about episode 9. Whatever.
So dumb. Why do you
Whatever. This isn't episode 6. Zori Bliss. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Fennec Shan's alive. She got the robo tummy. I don't think she'd be pooping anymore.
No.
I don't know how she'd be pooping. I don't know how Darth Maul be pooping.
I don't know how Darth Maul be pooping.
Anyway. Yeah. So, there's that part where he's like, I got a trained eye on the kid, on your kid up there. I'm trying to do my best to more Morrison. Just a simple man trying to make my way in the universe, in the galaxy. I think he's from New Zealand, not Australia. I think they're from New Zealand, I want to say. So they have a little bit of a not so Australian. It's like an Australian kind of mixed with like an Islander type of accent. So it's like,
yeah, it's like a raspy.
Boba, get in the ship.
Gather your things.
Gather your things. We're leaving. Yeah, it's not so freaking like, oi mate, grab it.
Me and Nigel have there just ripping fucking slappers.
Or like, ever made your way up to Coruscant? Oh, once or twice, love. Or not, no, that's British. I can't even. Oh, yeah, no, I've been up Coruscant a couple times. I had a couple good beers with the boys. Ripped some shitties.
Oh, my God, we were out there at Coruscant and fucking Ruse gave us a fucking world, doggy.
Dude, freaking. There, right there. That's a wild crate dragon. One of the most dangerous animals in all of Tatooine. I'm gonna go tickle his balls. Yeah, so he's not so Australian. More New Zealand. I think he's from New Zealand, but whatever, somewhere around there. But yeah, it's just cool. It was just a cool bit of episode. You get that Boba. You get to see him. You get to see him in his little robes. He's like, give me the armor. I want the armor. That was my father's armor. He's like, you're not Mandalorian. I'm not doing it. He's like, yes, I am. I'm Mandalorian. And whatever. So they go through. obviously, you've seen it. There's a fight scene. We get to see Boba freaking
Merc.
go ham with a gaffy stick.
Oh, he goes dicko mode.
And he gets the armor back and puts it on. And one thing, I was a little disappointed in the Star Wars fandom on Friday and over the weekend and stuff, because there's a lot of body shaming going on there.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Dude, okay, I have to say something. I'm going to make this just a freaking weekly thing. Other podcasts listen to, the Blue Harvest podcast, my boys Hawes and Will, they brought this up in one of their guests that kind of I never really thought about either as a fan. Because I'm not going to lie, I was looking at it, I'm like, dang, that armor don't fit too well no more. But you got to remember at the same time, okay, so you look at like stormtroopers in the original trilogy, right? Where it's not the prequels; it was people in costumes, not CGI.
Yep.
They had to get like a lot of times those stormtroopers in the suits were either really skinny dudes or like women, smaller, more petite people of some sort. Because when you have armor like that, and it's full body armor, I mean, you look at like the stormtrooper, they're like the same build as like a normal person, even with armor on.
Yeah.
So you can't have an average sized dude. Like if you put Harrison Ford in a stormtrooper outfit, like
he's gonna look kind of thick.
Because like you can tell they're bigger than, you know what I mean? Like yeah, they look kind of thick. They don't look, you know what I mean? So like, same thing with Boba Fett. That Jeremy Bullock guy was a really skinny dude.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there was nothing to his costume back then because he was a really skinny dude. Now you have Tamora Morrison put on the Boba Fett armor, and plus also he's wearing big bulky black robes under it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like that's gonna cause some. People were just too quick to jump on the more like Boba Fett, and it's like, shut up, shut up. Don't be a douche. Like, first of all, it wasn't fat because that dude is muscular as balls.
Yeah,
I mean that guy's a big dude. He would crush your head with his freaking thighs. Like, shut up. That annoyed me. That was like, really? Don't be like that. But yeah, get all that negativity out of here and just stop with that crap. It's just like, as much as we hate the sequels, it's like, are you really going to send death threats to Daisy Ridley and Kelly Marie Tran? And it's like, really? Grow up. It's like, I don't care if you don't like Rose. We don't like Rose.
No, we don't like Rose. But
it's not the actor's fault that the character sucks.
No.
It's just whatever, man.
Yeah, I thought that was,
ridiculous.
For as quick as Star Wars people are to jump on something that they don't like, the fact to do something like a body shame is a low blow.
It is. And
it's a
like,
low blow.
Especially on such a, like, Boba Fett, man. That's like one of the most beloved characters ever.
Oh, he is.
And I'm not one that's like, Boba Fett, best character in all Star Wars.
No,
like,
I'm not. We're not saying
not
that.
even close to me. He's not even in my top 10, but I still love me some Boba Fett. I mean, I'm not a toxic fan, but I'm also not, because there are those people with, with the big characters, there is a small, that like are mass, they're loved at a mass scale. Yeah. There's always that little cult of people that are like, that character sucks.
Yeah.
And like, whatever, but I'm in neither of those groups, Like there are people that like, think about a universally loved character. Like, who hates Han Solo? I bet you there's a little small cult of people that are like, yeah, Han Solo sucks. He's not a good character.
Yeah.
Darth Vader sucks. He's not a good character. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
There's always going to be those random weird little people like that. But for the most part, universally loved characters like Boba Fett. And the Star Wars community, for all he's done for the Star Wars community, people just turned around and was like, Boba Fett. It's like, really? Grow up.
I just didn't see the point.
I thought it was awesome to see him put back on that armor.
Oh, I thought it was awesome to see him put back in the armor.
And guess what? I don't know if that was Tamora Morrison under the suit. I really do, as an actor. I don't know if that was actually him. I kind of think it was. I don't know. That'd be worth a look up. But like, either way, whoever was under that suit that was so fat, kicked ass.
Yeah.
With a freaking gaffy stick. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
He whooped some ass.
He did.
So.
Yeah, it was cool to see him back in the armor, and we are going to see more of him.
Cool to see him freaking bashing the stormtrooper. I mean, literally breaking.
I love the crack, the crunch, and then when they go down to that stormtrooper's face, and it's just bashed in. I love it.
All the jokes about, like, is it the old Star Wars Battlefront games? They're like, "Come here, plastic boy," or something like that, and they have all those jokes about how they're made of plastic, and it's like, you saw that in this episode.
Yes.
It's like, that armor won't do you any good. But yeah, that's.
It literally looked like just they put fiberglass stormtrooper stuff on a dummy, and he just whacked the piss out.
Literally, it was awesome.
Awesome.
It was awesome. And you got, Mando and Fennec Shan helping out, doing some kick-ass stuff, and then you get to the sad part.
Yes.
Baby Yoda, obviously he's contacted somebody, right? I mean,
oh
he
yeah,
was done
that's
on
what
the
I'm.
Seed Stone. I imagine he went until he found somebody.
Yes.
And then he got super tired. He took a little nappy. And then those damn Dark Troopers came down, frickin' Iron Man style, just came straight down. The music that they played for those was like super like video game-esque. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, kind of.
like super like, I just got like a, I don't know what you call it, like a Doom vibe, like the video game Doom.
Yeah, I kind of got that.
Get
vibe.
like a weird vibe.
It was a weird vibe.
But anyway, they take him, they shoot back up, and frickin' Razor Crest. I forgot about that. Razor Crest. Bye-bye.
Rip in the chat.
Can
Razor
we get an
Crest.
F in the chat for the Razor Crest?
Yes.
Look, this would be about good time. Little screen comes across, and it's just a picture, black and white picture of the Razor Crest, 2019 through 2020. In the arms of an angel.
Yeah. I was sad to see the Razor Crest get blown up.
Yeah, it sucked, but
It's not like it's not like it was like a Millennium Falcon vibe with it.
No, but
But just the fact how broken Mando was.
dude,
He's so broken.
he was. But you don't know what the worst part was for me, for my own selfish reasons? I just bought the goddamn Lego version of the Razor Crest, and now it's worthless. It's not worthless, but
No.
it's still a great ship. But it's like, I just bought that bastard thinking like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. This ship's iconic as hell, and now it's a freaking pile of rubble.
It's a pile of rubble.
I like that he found the shifter knob.
I did too.
I like that he picked that up. I was like, oh, it's adorable. And then he got the Beskar staff, which I'm still not crazy about in a lot of ways, but it's whatever.
I'm excited for that. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm just not crazy. We'll talk more about that when he actually uses it. I'm just not crazy about staffs for some reason. I don't know. Considering Donatello was my favorite Ninja Turtle, they're just not crazy about staffs, man. I don't know. But
only Donatello can use a staff.
That's true. That's so true. No one else can use swords. Only Leonardo. That's against canon. Dude, this episode was, pretty much covered everything. We get Baby Yoda is up on the ship after they take him. Boba Fett comes and he's like, I got eyes on the target. And he's like, no, what are you going to do? Shoot him? Like, no, back off. And he's like, okay, I'm going to back off. I was so hoping that Boba Fett would just like shoot out of Slave One and just like jetpack over and just grab him and save the day. But at the same time, I was like, no, don't do that, because I want to see where this is going.
Yeah, I thought that it was good for the future to
absolutely
actually have Baby Yoda get kidnapped.
Because we got pretty damn lucky with some of the other episodes where Baby Yoda should have been taken or something bad should have happened to him, and we've lucked out every time. So this is due, you know. This was totally due, and they did it.
I thought it was good
cool
how
way.
they added the suspense with the Dark Troopers.
Yeah,
walking up, and everybody's like, "Oh, you guys ain't gonna do it." And then all of a sudden, they did it.
They got him.
I liked it. I liked that.
Moff Gideon, toying, Baby Yoda freaking tossing some stormtroopers around. That was so fun. And he's like
and just throwing them around like
and
rag
Moff
dolls.
Gideon comes over. He's like, "Oh, you get kind of sleepy over there." And he's like, "Yeah." And he's kind of passed out, does a little nap. And then he's like, "Stun him," puts him in the shackles, or shows him the Darksaber too.
Yeah,
that was. Oh, you're not ready to play with such things. I don't. There's something about his voice, man. Something about the way he talks that I love. And I didn't watch Breaking Bad, so I
love that actor.
I'm not in on that guy. I don't even know his name, but
on Breaking Bad?
Yeah. I know his name's Giancarlo Esposito, but I don't know his character in Breaking Bad, but
Oh man,
There's just
I
something about the
forgot
way
it.
he talks. He always talks like he's like he reminds me of like Neil deGrasse Tyson. You know who that is? He's
No.
the black guy that's really smart, like a scientist, and he did like what was it called?
Oh, it's Gustavo Fring, by the way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he always sounds like he's like narrating a science book to me, Moff Gideon. He's just like, yeah, and you're not ready to play with such things.
You are not ready to play with such things. He's a very elegant talker.
Oh, his voice is amazing to me. I would listen to that man do audiobooks all day long. He needs to jump on Cameo, the app Cameo, you know, where you pay people to say stuff. I'm just gonna pay him like $500. Like, read me this book. Good night, Moon. Good night. Or something dumb. Just pay him a bunch of money to read like, I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them. Sam, I am.
I do not like them anywhere.
I do not like them.
Neither here nor there.
No, neither here nor there. Okay. Yeah, dude. I said this last episode, but I'm so excited for. This is, remember when we were watching when Clone Wars Season 7 was the hot topic, when that was still coming out, and we were on like the first 2 arcs with the Bad Batch and with the sisters with Ahsoka. The episodes were good, but I kept saying throughout every podcast episode, I was like, dude, I'm ready for the next. I'm ready for the big stuff. I'm ready for Mandalore. I'm ready for all that. It's hard to key in so much on these first 8 episodes when these last 4 are going to be so damn good. That's the thing I love about Mandalorian. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Even the filler episodes are good. And this wasn't a filler episode at all. This was a main story episode, but it was still awesome. And I'm ready. I'm ready, and there's only 2 episodes left. I got to sneeze.
I know. There's only 2 episodes left. That's crazy. The next 2 are going to be some good ones. My bold prediction is that, well, I'd like to make a couple of bold predictions, but
go for it. I can maybe match.
Okay. I'm not going to make a prediction on who he contacted, because I think that that's very interesting and something's going to happen to that.
Go for it, and I'll make mine on that.
On who he contacted?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know who.
I don't know either. I'm not confident in my answer, but I'll make a not a hot take. It's not my own take, but I'll make a take on it.
Okay.
I'll go take one.
I will just throw out there. I'm just throwing out there. No reason. You don't have to back it up if you don't want.
Is it for what?
For who he contacted.
Okay, go for it.
Just kind of like what we did for the mixed 0 cents.
Yep.
Okay.
Kitty Monday. Gotcha.
Yep. No. I'm going with Ezra.
Yeah, you stole my thunder. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Did you notice the loft cat in episode 5? You know those little cat deals that are in Rebels?
Yep.
There was one of those in episode 5, man, and they don't mean much, but I don't know. I saw that and I was like, damn, that's a loth cat from Lothal. Like, that's got to mean something.
Yeah.
But the only thing is Ahsoka she's still looking for Thrawn, and that makes me feel like they're still out there somewhere. So I don't know, man.
I don't know either.
Maybe Baby Yoda, maybe Grogu is the
key to that.
Is the light home. Like, maybe he shined a beacon, and Ezra's like, yo, that's on Tython. I can follow that to Tython, and I'll be back in the known universe. Whatever. And I just think Ezra makes the most sense, because the only thing, there's 2 schools of thought here. It can either be Ezra, or it can be some random Jedi that we haven't met before.
That no one wants.
Luke makes sense. Don't get me wrong.
Luke makes sense, but too much money.
Yeah, too much. There's just too much there, and it's the easy answer that you don't think. It's just the easy answer that probably is the least likely to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, also the more you think on it, it's like, I think that there's a future with Grogu, with story and possibly movies. So that's why I think, kind of like what you said, 100 years after Rise of Skywalker.
Right. Because if he goes with Luke, he's screwed.
He's dead.
Right. Yeah. Or he's with Kylo being all naughty.
Yeah. Exactly.
Dude, I had this thought, and it's like, what if you know how he says, and he took a handful of my students with him. Luke says that about Kylo to Rey. What if Kylo's just like talking to all these Jedi after he's burned everything down, and he's just like, you know how Kylo freaking talks. I killed the old man. He's dead. There's nothing left anymore. Come with me if you want to be powerful in the Force. Forget your Jedi past. And Grogu's just like, and just waddles over. Kylo's out here just like killing dudes, like choking them out, and Grogu's just like watching.
And he's doing that signature face, just like,
and he's like, and he's like freaking, he's got little black robes, and he's just like, he's just walking around just killing, or like he's just choking.
Just imagine
dudes out.
mad face when he's choking it, just mad face.
Yeah, I just a thought I had when because everyone keeps saying like, what if Grogu was a handful of those students? What if he was in that handful? But I doubt it.
That's too tough to
right.
to do,
It'd be funny as hell, but yeah, no, and you know, I just think I think they want to do someone that's well known, but your options are so limited. You took out Ahsoka. I mean, you're literally your options to me are Luke, Ezra, or Cal Kestis. I mean, what else is there? Who else could even, you know?
Yeah, could be Cal.
What if they showed up in the what's that ship called? I don't remember what the ship's called. Their ship in the
video game.
In the video game, yeah.
I don't remember.
What if they show up in that ship and they're just like, there's no one here? You know? I don't know. But yeah, I think that's
that's my thing. Whoever he contacted, there's going to be one or two things that are going to happen here. And I'll go off on this. This is what I think is I'm going to say set in stone. Grogu will not be back in Mandalorian's hands until season 3 sometime.
Yeah, I think like this episode and the last episode are going to be getting him, and I think the episode 8 is going to leave off on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, I do too.
Like everybody gets captured or somebody dies, something big's going to happen, but we're not going to get resolution to whether or not.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or they're going to attempt to get Grogu and they're going to fail, and that's going to be the big bad, you know, the big deal that goes wrong. Something's going to go horribly wrong, I think. I think this episode leaves off on a big old cliffhanger.
I do too. And
just since the
what
last
I
episode,
think is going to happen.
Last season went so well at the end.
Yeah. Now that go back to my one or two things that it's going to happen. One is the Jedi, whomever was contacted, shows up at the beginning of this episode. But that's both are likely that this might happen, but this is my thing that's option one. The Jedi comes, whoever it is, at the beginning of this episode. Boring, don't do that. Not fun. But that could happen. That's option one. On the other hand, option B. I think that they'd go off and they try and find something or whatever. And I think the big cliffhanger, this is what I want to happen and what my cliffhanger bold prediction is.
Yep.
They fail to rescue him in the final episode. So what happens is they end up just saying, okay, let's regroup. Let's wait on Tython until the Jedi comes.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, what I want to see is a ship come in, lowered down, end gate opens up.
Yep.
Final minutes of the season. This sexy devil comes out with long black hair and a beard. And they say, "Who are you?" And he says, "I'm Ezra Bridger."
I'm Ezra Bridger. And he's played by Al, of course.
Yeah, he's played by me. I look like Ezra.
Yeah,
if I had my long hair.
Al does kind of look like Ezra. He looks like Ezra and a little bit of... You look like Ezra kind of with the short hair, too, but you look like Cassian with the long hair.
Yeah.
I've been in this fight since I was 6 years old. When you first did that to me one day, and when you had your long hair way back when we first started the podcast.
That was back when I had the scruff with the mustache, just like him, too.
Yes. It was... I was like, dude, are you in the Cassian series? Or is there something you're not telling me about? Yeah. So that was the episode, man. In a really weird tangent, off pace nutshell. That was.
I hope you followed along with.
Yeah, I know. Gotta remember that this is totally unscripted. We're just back and forth talking about. I mean, this is the first time we've really talked about it. The first time I really talked about it with anyone. So it's.
Yeah, I mean,
besides myself.
I don't have anybody that
I
talk Star Wars with other than you. So.
Yeah, I mean it's.
I mean, I talk to myself a lot, and
absolutely.
I think a lot.
Dude. You have to talk to yourself.
I'm a sociopath.
You don't
just
like you don't just like drive around or just like when you're by yourself during like when I'm I drive for work, so like I drive around all day by myself a lot of the time, and I just sit there and like I'm weird, dude. I just like I'll be like,
Do you ever drive and act like you're in a speeder on Coruscant?
yeah, every day, every day.
Like, I just
Blah, this is why I hate flying.
oh yeah. Do you ever like just fuck? Just there's no better way to say it than just fuck with your steering wheel and just act like you're flipping switches above you.
Oh yeah.
And act like you're Han Solo. And do you ever so you're coming out of town all around the bypass, right? And then you get on the main highway to get up to highway speed.
Yep.
Do you ever just reach over to your radio and just imaginary light speed it and floor it? Because I do. I mean,
absolutely.
I do that.
You are talking to a seasoned child, my friend.
Yes.
I'm literally the one that like.
Okay, in the shower next. In the shower, do you act like you're on Camino sometimes?
Yes, every time. When I get in the shower, I do the imaginary hood flip back.
Yeah.
And I get in and I'm like, or I do the, you know, that was me doing the Obi-Wan finger wave and that iconic door sound that's like, wow.
Yeah.
You know?
If you don't do if you haven't done the Force thing with a
at Walmart every time.
Okay, everyone's done that, even if you're not a Star Wars fan.
Everyone's done it. I mean, it's wow, and you're like, got it. When you nail it perfectly, oh, it's amazing,
it's awesome.
Dude. There's these. So like right when I get into work, we're in the process of moving buildings for work or whatever. So, but the old building is back in this old part of a mall, and the back parking lot, and kind of where I get to like the back door of our building to grab my stuff and go. There's these bumps because it's where the pavement's all broke up and it's like gravel, and I shit you not, I mean 6-inch divots for like all over for a stretch of like, it looks like a minefield, and I drive that in my 2-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive van, and I sit there and I'm freaking
and you do the stay on target,
and I stay on target every day, dude. Every day I shake the steering wheel, I'm like, stay on target every day, dude. Speaking of other childish things, me and Al were talking before the episode a little bit about Star Wars toys, man. Like, so, little backstory. This weekend, I went to a comic book store, closest one to me, I believe, in good old Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Rainbow Comics, if you ever want to hit them up, if you're a South Dakota listener and you're into comics and whatnot. And they have, I bought some comics and stuff, some Star Wars comics, older, like Legends comics that are from the prequel era and post Return of the Jedi, stuff like that. And they also have like vintage figures and stuff, like still in the box. I mean, they have stuff for everybody. They have like the Kenner line from 77. They literally have some of those still new in the box. I mean, they're like really? $60-$70 for like just random. I mean, like Stormtrooper was one of them. It was like $60. Vintage.
Wow.
Kenner 77. I mean, like when the movie came out, you know, they got like.
I love Kenner toys.
Dude, Kenner toys are awesome.
They have the best quality.
Mm-hmm.
They do really very they do very good.
They do.
I have an Obi-Wan Kenner. Oh,
absolutely.
Wow.
They
got
good.
gray in his sideburn.
Exactly.
They do so much.
They do. But they also have one of their like main little racks, I guess, is they have like the Power of the Force, Power of the Jedi from like the later 90s. Like I think those are like right before Episode 1 came out. They had those Power of the Force and Power of the Jedi in the green box. Then they have Episode 1 figures, they have Episode 2 figures, and Episode 3 figures, which for me are like the most iconic of anything in Star Wars for me is those Episode 3 figures. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. And it probably, if you're around our age, like, because I was like 5 when these figures come out. So that's like prime, like I want action figures type of stuff. It's the easiest toy to grasp when you're 5 years old, you know?
Yeah.
So I remember, dude, every time I go in that store, I see those and I just impulse buy because I get nostalgia from when I was a kid, like, you know. And these are new in the box,
so
very good condition. It depends. So obviously,
probably around like $18-$20.
No, cheaper than that.
Really?
You'd be amazed how cheap some of those are. So I already had 2 from the last visit. I bought a Plo Koon and Ayla Secura. I'm a Jedi guy. I only have Jedi figures from that line. I haven't bought anything else. I really was gonna buy a Grievous and I think there was a clone I was gonna buy, but I didn't. But I I go for Jedi. I have a Plo Koon and Aayla Secura from Visits Past that I bought from there. And then I just picked up a Mace Windu and an Aegon Kolar. So I got those 4 from, but they're, I mean, they're awesome, dude. But like, Mace Windu was cheap. He was like $9-10.
Really? So
And
they're
like,
almost retail price.
Dude, well, back in the day when those figures came out, I want to say they were like $7.
Yeah, $7.
Yeah, and one of them was like 9. I think Aegon Kolar was like 12 to 14. The rarer kind of like, okay, so like your Obi-Wans,
he is awesome. So he needs
your Obi-Wans, your Anakins, like a clone trooper or like a Yoda, they're gonna be cheap. I mean, they're gonna be, if they're just base, whatever, nothing special with them, they're gonna be, $8-9. Super. I mean, you can't buy that crap for anywhere else. It's amazing, and it's just a little comic book store. And okay, if you're wanting, freaking, just a really out there character, like that Aegon Kolar was probably one of the, not the one of the more expensive ones, but one of the top that I could see. That I was okay, like a General Grievous figure probably gonna run you $20, just because it comes with a lot, and that kind of stuff. But like, dude, I was telling Al, I was like, I remember me and my cousin when we were kids. Every time we would go to my grandma's house and we'd meet up, those were like the toys that were around this time. Those were what you'd find on the shelves, and we had a few. I had like the Anakin. I had an Anakin and Obi-Wan. I had a Yoda. I had all sorts. I had some clones. But they came with the little packets in there, and I really want to buy one just to open up, just to see one of those. But I'm a vintage in the box type of guy when it comes to collecting stuff. Al can tell you that. But
oh yeah.
But I just want to feel one of those little packets. Yep. Oh God, man, they're so awesome. It's the nostalgia for me, man. That's what I just kind of want to talk about. It's just like, what's your nostalgia stuff when it comes to Star Wars? We talked a little bit before the episode. We probably didn't do a very good job of keeping it all in for the episode, but
yeah.
What's your biggest? That's probably my biggest one, is those Revenge of the Sith figures with the Darth Vader card, dude. Oh man, they're so good.
I liked the kind of that in between the Clone Wars and, I mean, all of them give me a lot of nostalgia, but
yep,
the ones that really give me nostalgia are that in between stage where they had that line of toys that came out, and these are Hasbro too. I think they're Hasbro anyway.
Yeah,
it was the same thing as the Darth Vader Revenge of the Sith paperback, but it was a Stormtrooper.
Yeah,
I like those. They just, because those were a lot of the toys that, like, when I'd buy them myself. Because this was before Clone Wars, so it was like I had money, and they weren't quite launching Clone Wars toys yet.
Right.
But don't get me wrong, the Clone Wars toys give me a lot of nostalgia. I think
I know what you're talking about though, because that was another pretty big one I spent a lot of money on, was those kind of in between, post, when I was probably 8, after Revenge of the Sith, before Clone. Boy, just ripped a good one. Yeah, kind of like before Clone Wars. Before those were out, and before that because the Clone Wars, actually, I would say that the Clone Wars did like the biggest like merchandise push of any Star Wars any Star Wars trilogy, movie, or whatever, since I've been alive. I don't know what it was like way back in the day when everything first came out, but the Clone Wars had a huge push of stuff.
I think that, and see, I think that they did so much with that was because I feel like they almost seen what was coming.
I think so too. They knew there's no way that this show fails.
Well, not only that, how they could see the world was turning to the technology side of things.
Yeah,
where now they got a Star Wars mobile game,
right,
and all this. So it was like this is their last ditch effort.
It was a good time to come up with this stuff. Yeah,
this 2008 smartphones were coming out around that time.
Right.
Some are already out, but smartphones were becoming a thing.
The internet was popping. You could order stuff online on the internet. You know what I mean? Like,
they knew
like
it was coming.
You want to know something crazy? Is like, I can't imagine. Okay, like I'm really starting to get back into these figures, man. Like I'm primarily I'm a figure like a Black Series guy, but man, I'm looking at those vintage these Revenge of the Sith ones, and I was telling myself, you know how much I love me some Ki-Adi-Mundi, man. I love me some Cockhead, but I wanted one, man, but they didn't have any at the comic book store, and I was like, screw it. I'm going on eBay. I'm finding one. Cheap as hell. Like $11. Shipping was not much, and pretty good shape in the box, and I bought it. And I was like, could you imagine being a collector? Say you were collecting for like the Phantom Menace, right, in '99. I mean, the internet's not really a place. You're not going on the internet to find, you know, you're not getting stuff shipped to you over the internet in '99. If you want, you're either looking at like catalogs, or you're store hunting. You know what I mean? If you really want to figure, you're store hunting.
And that's the thing. Like we were talking about before the show. The chase of getting you have a set list of this is the toy that I want. And I will get it. It's my kill list toy. And the chase of finding that toy is awesome. It's stressful.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's fun.
No, it's amazing.
But once you find that,
Another thing to add on to that, too, before you finish. Because we were talking about before the show started, he's talking about his story about a certain figure that he might tell. I don't know, but certain figure that he found, he's like, man, that rush that you do when you find that, there's nothing like it. You want to know my similar thing with that? When you're opening up your Christmas presents on Sunday morning when you're a kid, and you opened up a few, and there was some good stuff in there. You know, there's like, oh, cool, a North Face jacket. That's cool.
Yeah.
Or, you know, at the time it was Columbia. Those Columbia jackets, man. When we were like,
I never had one.
School, I had a stupid camo one. It made me look like a country boy. But you know, you open up your Columbia jacket. You're like, oh, thanks, Mom. You know, you open up your little toy thing you get. I'm talking back in, because you know, me and Al are the type of kids where like we were still asking for Star Wars stuff. I still ask for Star Wars stuff for Christmas and stuff. I mean, okay, I don't necessarily ask for toys anymore, but like I still want toys. I'll go buy them with the money you give me, but like, you know, when I'm talking at the age before your parents start to go, yeah, I'm not buying you a $200 Millennium Falcon Lego set, Kobe. I'm not doing that. Like, I'm like, okay. I'm talking the prime age where your parents are like getting you toys for Christmas and your birthday and stuff. You get to like some of those last presents. For me, it was always shake it a little, and if I hear it, I'm like, it is Legos. I love that shit. But you open it up and you're like, oh God, you know, like it's that one thing you wanted so bad.
The one time that I had that, well, first that figure that Kobe was talking about, I'm not going to give away my secret location for Star Wars toys.
Dude, it don't matter. They're not open anymore.
That's true. Gordman's.
Gordman's in Sioux Falls.
Gordman's was a great low-key spot to find Star Wars toys.
Because your mom was always like, we got to go to Gordman's. They got good deals on back-to-school clothes.
Right, because they've been closing for 30 years.
Everybody's mom was like that, you know? Exactly.
And now they actually finally did.
Yeah, actually, they may have reopened.
You don't ever know. The next day they're
Gordman's
closed.
going out of business sale next month. Grand reopening, 15% off.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. I'll take it.
It was a Savage Press toy, which, if you guys knew, he was not your run-of-the-mill figure that you were going to find at Walmart. It was a
pretty big deal.
It was a big deal. It was I don't know how many they actually made, but
it was probably a Gordman's exclusive.
I mean,
could you imagine? Only at Gordman's.
I mean, you know, like the stuff that people.
What's another really stupid one, like. Only at Barnes and Noble.
Yeah, something like that.
I hate exclusives so much, man.
Yeah, I found a Savage Press toy at Gordman's. They had 4 3-inch figures, and he was the last one that I seen, and I was excited. I was very excited.
Only at Yonkers. No, not Yonkers. What is it? Is it Yonkers?
Yonkers and Herbergers?
Yes, only at Herbergers. I forgot about her burgers, dude.
But
I hope these are stores in other states outside of the Midwest, because otherwise we're gonna sound like idiots. Like, what's a her burgers?
do they sell burgers?
What's a Yonkers?
It does
only
sound
at
like
Burlington Coat Factory.
it does. Just put on a Minnesota accent. Yonkers and her
Head up
burgers.
to Yonkers and get yourself a new pair of
Oops,
shoes.
sorry, I didn't mean to run into you at the Yonkers and her burgers.
Oh, I got the gift receipt in there. It's from her burgers.
But one of those Christmas morning ones that I kind of forgot about till you said it.
Yeah.
It was Christmas it was weird. It was Christmas at night. We were opening gifts at night.
I've done that before, though.
Oh, I have too. But I haven't done
stuff
it
on
in a long time.
Have stuff on Christmas Day with like your extended family, maybe, but then you open mom and dad's gifts at night. I've done that before.
Yeah. But this was the actual extended family party.
Mm-hmm.
We ate supper. We spent the whole day together, but we decided we're going to open presents at night.
Mm-hmm.
And it was my great grandma that got me this, and I was like, "Whoa, this thing's big."
Grandma got game, dude.
And normally, you know, she'd give us like $20 or something.
Right.
And I don't know how much it costs. I don't even know what to look up to find what it is, but I'm sure some of you had it. So I got a, and this was kind of, they did it, and I feel like it'd sell really good now. It was a big box, and I'm sure it was like $20 because that's what you spent on everybody, but it had all these pieces. I mean, pieces beyond pieces of different hilts for lightsabers.
Oh yeah.
Just little pieces.
I remember these.
And you could build your own lightsaber. They came with an LED tube. They came with all of the kyber crystals that you could use. They had lens stuff to make, anyway.
Yeah.
Cool stuff. I opened that and I was like,
know what you're talking about.
That is awesome. And then I got another one that was just kind of weird, but I liked. It was a book, and it was how to draw your favorite Star Wars animated characters.
Seen that one as well.
And
something cool I wish I would have had growing up, even though I sucked at drawing.
I definitely probably couldn't do it anymore, but once they walk you through it in a book, just like everything else, you can draw the exact same thing. It's
right.
Awesome.
When you have that outline, it's not too bad. But
I drew the Clone Wars faces of clones, and it looked, pretty damn good. But yeah, it was cool. It was cool. It wasn't nothing crazy, nothing I'd buy now.
Right.
But
yeah,
it was cool. Another one that was, kind of a disappointment was I was probably around 10.
Yeah.
And they launched this, I think it was like $400. Millennium Falcon, massive. It was a toy chest. I've showed you the video of this.
Yeah.
It was a toy chest. You open the whole top, and it was to store all your figures, but also it was like detailed to crap. So the inside was like the Millennium Falcon. It had you could store all your stuff. But my brother said that my mom got it for me at Target, and my brother was like 14, so I was like, oh, no way. He was like, yeah, dude, it was like $400.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother wouldn't normally my brother wouldn't lie to me or whatever, but so the long story short is my brother overheard my mom and dad talking about that, and they were gonna get me it, but then they opted out of it because it was way too much money.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them. $400 for it was a toy chest.
That's crazy.
That's crazy
for
and it's awesome.
Imagine you get one kid that, and the other kid's like, "Here's your Columbia jacket."
Yeah, exactly. Here's your American Eagle jeans.
Here's your American Eagle
one
jeans.
pair.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I wasn't too mad.
Love
because,
you all equally.
Probably my prized possession in my collection I got that year instead, which still was not cheap. I have a it's a toy chest too, I would say.
Scroll on over to scroll on over to my personal Instagram, at Big K Swag. I know I'm a douchebag, but that's my Instagram. And scroll down a little bit till you see two very handsome looking dudes sitting next to a giant what Al is going to talk about, and that's what we're talking about. Go ahead. I don't want to steal your thunder.
I would say it is 2.5 foot tall.
I'll post. I might try to find the picture. It's probably on my old phone. I might have to do a screenshot from Instagram, but I'm gonna post that on the Imperial Radio TikTok or not TikTok, the Imperial Radio Instagram.
Okay.
I think I can crop it enough so it doesn't show all the stuff. It sucks. I have so many good like pictures of like you and me or friends from high school and stuff, but I never backed them up from my old phone.
Yeah.
And I tried to turn on my old phone one day and it's just dead. I mean it's
You
done.
can probably take the SIM card out and get them though.
That's a good idea. I'm supposed to be
go
the tech
to-
guy, and I didn't even think of that.
Go to
So,
your local cell provider, whether that
Yeah.
be Verizon
Yeah.
or AT&T, whatever you
mhm.
cellular device with.
Whatever you cellular. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a giant 2.5 foot tall, probably 3 foot long AT-AT. It's got speakers in it. It's got the whole the grunt, the walking noises. It's
Yeah.
got the blaster. It's got it actually has the cannons move that's like under the jaw of the AT-AT, like the like the big ones. And then you can open it up and stuff, and there's all this stuff. There's more buttons inside, and they'll scream at you, and they'll say red lights, and then red lights will flash. And that was a cool toy. And then it actually came with a pilot, like an AT-AT pilot or operator, whatever
Yeah.
you'd say for that, I guess. But I lost it, and it really made me mad because I don't know where it is. I'm
Yeah,
sure
it's okay.
it's no, I still have the pilot, but what I had there came with 2 characters.
Yeah.
It had a snow scout trooper,
Yeah.
and in the back, like how the poop chute opens up,
The poop shoot.
and you press the button and it goes shoo.
Yeah.
Came with a white speeder bike
Mhm.
with a snow scout trooper.
Nice.
Don't know where the hell that is.
Yeah, that's dude. Accessories
know
for
that
toys, they don't stick around, man.
No.
They don't stick around. I never really got into. I guess I shouldn't say I didn't get into them. I never got any that made me. I had a lot. Oh my god, I had a metric shit ton of action figures growing up. I mean, like
Yep.
I had just and Al does too. He still has a lot of his. All mine.
I've got a tote, probably similar to this.
Of my
Rubbermaid.
$1,000 of unbuilt Lego there.
Yep. Probably pretty similar to this
The
Rubbermaid
UCS
tote.
Falcon, UCS Star Destroyer just chilling in that box. Yeah. It sucks, dude, because, every kid, when you grow up, I feel like when you grow up being, I mean, we were nerds growing up. I mean, we weren't like your stereotypical nerds. I mean, like, we love sports and we love all sorts of
We were
stuff
the
growing
new
up.
age nerds. We were the cool nerds.
Right. We were dudes that, I mean, we weren't like total 100% nerds to the point where like your stereotypical nerd. I mean, we would have a conversation about Star Wars and then be like, yeah, but Damian Tomlinson though, it's just something stupid like that. But like,
But the Rancor though?
the Rancor though, I don't know, man. But
That's a throwback to season 1 of Imperial Radio.
Imperial Radio season 1, dude. So obviously, where I was going with that was after I tangent off on that. My thing about growing up, or what happened to me, I guess, my sob story, is I had figure after figure. I had every single Jedi in the scene where Mace goes in to kill Palpatine. I had Mace, Saucy Tin, Agen Kolar, Kit Fisto, Anakin, and Palpatine that came in a big set. Anakin didn't come in a set, but I had tons of Anakins. I had tons of Obi-Wans. I had a Count Dooku. I had a Grievous. I had a Jango Fett that you could peel off the armor. I think you had that same Jango Fett.
I do.
That's a great figure. I mean, I had every.
I've
I
got
had Luke, Han. I had everybody. I had just
Yeah.
random background stupid Jedi that nobody should have. Right? I had the guy from. I was telling Al, I was like, I have the guy from Episode 3 that goes, "There's no war here unless you brought it with you."
Yeah.
His name's Tion Medon, by the way. I didn't want to.
I love that you have to throw that in there.
I know.
I love that.
I didn't want to flex the name because I just sound like a huge douche, but like his name's Tion Medon, by the way.
I have this one random Jedi. It came in a 2-pack, and it was, I believe it was a Legends 2-pack or whatever, but it had Luke with actual Jedi robes, and they were like, like the sleeves were gray, and then what would you call these? Like
the tunic.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the tunic was like a red. It's actually kind of cool looking.
Yeah.
It was a Legends though. It came with a Legends comic, which was not Legends at the time, but then it came with this other figure, and I don't know her name, but
it's a girl.
It was a girl.
Was it a human girl?
She was Asian.
Oh. I don't know.
She was Asian, and she had a very similar look. I could probably look it up and find it.
I'm trying to find it here just for poopies and giggles.
Yeah.
Because there's like one there, like there's there's Mara Jade, who that's but she's not really. Oh, it might have been. Does she have like a whip?
I don't know.
Because there's Lumaya. You know what I mean? Like, well, that's not the right.
I can
picture,
try and find it.
Well, anyway, yeah, some of those packs, dude, were so good, and I love how the one thing that sucks about the Disney takeover, I mean, obviously losing Legends sucks, but like, we're probably never. I mean, very rarely are we going to get to see. Back in the day, Hasbro and Kenner and all those guys, they could do whatever the hell they wanted when it came to characters. I mean, there's all sorts of expanded universe packs. I mean, like, there is like just random off the wall, characters that they put in expanded. I mean, like, there's like Darth Crate action figures. There's like Kakruk and all those really cool expanded universe characters that aren't really canon anymore. I mean, the best we're gonna get's like Revan, Darth Bane, characters that are expanded universe but kind of canon.
Yeah.
So like, yeah. But what I was saying before, God, I cannot keep on a straight path here.
You remember these original Clone Wars ones?
Yes.
Paperbacks?
Yes, I do.
Those.
Yes, I do.
I actually have that exact same figure.
Yeah, I was gonna say I bought a lot of my clones that way. But when I was a kid, I went through, just like every kid I imagine, went through spurts of like, maybe you get a little crush in class and all you can think about is this girl, and you're like, well, she's never going to want to date a guy that plays with toys and like Star Wars, so you like load all your Star Wars stuff. Or maybe your friends that like you're kind of in that in-between age, like 11, 12, where like it's probably still okay to play with toys. Or maybe like 10, 11, 12. It's probably still okay to play with toys, but like, maybe like your cool sports friends are coming over, and you're like, I don't want them to think I play with toys, so I shove them all in a bucket and I throw them downstairs, and then when they leave, I take them back out and I probably play with them. But like, I would do that, but I would do that like in spurts. Like, I'd be like, I'm too cool for Star Wars toys, so I'd throw them on a bucket, shove them downstairs. 2 weeks later, I'd be like, oh, I miss my Star Wars toys, and I go and get them. But it happened one time where
those old, sorry to interrupt, do you remember those old, like, little stupid hard plastic, squat guys?
Dude, as soon as you said little, I knew exactly what you're talking about, because some of them came up on when I was looking for your Luke. Just, the little dudes that look like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those were cool, man. Just little stuff like that. And I had all sorts of that stuff. But I threw, my Lego things, they never got touched. You know what I mean? Those were super sacred to me. I'm a huge Lego guy, and I always have been. I never really lost that trend. But my action figures and any sort of like ship or anything like that I had, which I actually didn't have a lot of. I only had one ship, and it was Obi-Wan Kenobi's Interceptor. Minifigure scale, anyway. But I put them all in a bucket.
Okay, so I lied.
Okay.
It was not what I thought it was. But I thought that it came with a comic. I might be... Okay, this is when I was a child. I found the set. I found the set. Because I remember when I said you should get 3-packs and 2-packs all the time?
Mm-hmm.
It did come with a comic, because I remember I got this when... It came with a coloring book. That's what it was. It was a coloring book.
Yeah.
It was this one anyway. But I got it at a baseball tournament. My mom.
Oh, that's... Well, it's Luke and Qui-Gon, and that's Bolter Swan, or Butler Swan, or Boltar Swan, however you say that. Yeah, okay. It's an that's a weird group of...
I know.
It's literally like the main character of Star Wars, Luke Skywalker, and then Qui-Gon Jinn, a super popular character, and then it's like Bolter Swan. It's like, why?
Exactly.
Why give me Boltar Swan, or Butler Swan, or however you say your name? I have to look that up. Actually, I did not know how to say that.
I just thought that them robes that Luke wears are kind of cool.
No, those are dope. I took all my crap, threw it in a bucket, but this time it lasted a while. This was one of those times where I was like, I kind of gave up on Star Wars toys for quite a while. And then, I mean, this was probably a year or two. And then I went back when I got a little older. I mean, I'm probably like 13 at this point. I probably did this when I was like 11. I threw all my crap. All right, threw all my crap away, not away, but away off somewhere in the trenches of my downstairs storage, which is totes on totes on totes. And I'm like, I want to go find all my Star Wars action figures. I just really want to see which ones I have, because I played with my figures, don't get me wrong. I wasn't some weird little kid that kept them in the box. Like, I took them out of the box and played with them, but I was never rough on them. So if I had them, they would all hold up pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean, I might have lost pieces here and there, but I never damaged them or anything.
I was always very good to my toys, for the most part.
Yep.
Some of them, like, I don't know, like, this is when I was like, 2008, what?
Right.
7 years old.
Right.
I'm like gnawing on the fins, and then all of a sudden,
Right.
I was a weirdo. I chewed on shit.
Yeah.
But, and then, like, if one would accidentally break, I used to do model cars, so I had a bunch of, like, high-quality model paint. I had, like, a little...
Me too, for some reason. I don't know where it came from, but one day I was looking for paint, and I found this really high-quality paint, and I'm like, that is convenient.
Yeah. So I'd use that model paint, and you've seen on some of them how
and you got, like
the head chopped off.
Custom clones and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I'd buy a lot of, like, white clones and try and paint custom clone stuff. And
It just never ends up.
Granted, I was a 10-year-old. Now if I did it, probably work out a little better. But
You have all these great ideas, like, I'm gonna make this clone that they haven't made yet, and I'm gonna make freaking Captain Keeley or somebody, and you start doing it, and it just looks like dog shit. You're like, no,
that's what I think.
Why'd I use permanent marker?
I was an idiot. So, like, I had a like those. Remember them clone helmets I was showing you? It's just a clone helmet. Like, they made them. Oh, and they had buttons and stuff.
Yeah.
And
okay.
So I was an idiot, and
you should.
I wanted to make a custom. This is my clone helmet, and instead of getting some tape, doing it right, spray painting, doing some cool stuff. This is 8-year-old Alex, and he's going to take a blue Sharpie and scribble.
Yeah.
And we can imagine what blue Sharpie looks like on white plastic. It is faded, streaky, white blue. It looks like dog ass.
Yeah, literal dog ass.
It was bad.
Yeah. I did that crap too, and it's just.
I would like to find it. I know where it's at.
There is ways to get Sharpie off of plastic. I know that from the Lego community and stuff. People that are like, I really regret this, or people buy cheap like Lego clones that people tried to mess with, and they clean them up real good and make them look like new. There's way, and there's like sandpaper, and there's
and see,
nail polish remover, and all this stuff you can do.
I might do like when I
bring it over one day, and we'll workshop it a little bit.
I'd like to just fully sand the son of a gun down to bare plastic and just restart.
Yeah, could do that.
Do
too.
some cool stuff with it or something.
Yeah. Okay, I gotta finish my story.
Oh
real
yeah,
quick.
sorry.
No, you're good. I screwed myself over so many times. So where were we at? I threw all my crap away or into the trenches of my downstairs, and I didn't touch it for a while. Went back to look for it one day. I'm like, damn. And this was, I'm like probably 13, and I'm like, I just want to see what I got, and if there's anything good, and if there's anything worth some money. And I go down. I'm looking through all this stuff. I find some stuff. Like at the time, I did have my Legos down there, like my spare ones, not like my sets and stuff that I kept, but just my spares. And I was like, well, I found my Lego stuff, but like, where's my action figures? Where's all my Star Wars? And I had more than just Star Wars too. I had like Power Rangers and all this great, great stuff. And I had Batman. I had a lot of Batman stuff. And
I had Spider-Man action figures.
Yeah, I had some I had a lot of superheroes. I wasn't into Marvel, but I was into DC stuff.
Yeah.
But like or like Transformers and stuff like that. I go down and nothing. I cannot find it. And I'm like, what the hell? So I go upstairs. I'm like, my parents are split, by the way. So I was just talking just to my mom, and then my dad would be the one to throw stuff out and stuff. So I'm talking to my mom. I'm like, do you know where where would you? My toys from when I was a kid are not down there. Like my Lego stuff is there, but like nothing else is down there. I was like, you know how many action figures I had and how much money you sunk into that. She's like, yeah, I do. And I'm like, okay, where are they? Because I might have some valuables. I want to see what I got. And she's like, well, they got to be down there. I'm like, they're not. Okay, well, go check the storage shed. So we have a storage shed just on, I'm just not really outside of Letcher, just on the opposite end of Letcher, where I live, my hometown. And I go to the storage shed. We have 2 of them, and I know the first one's got a car in it, or did at the time. Second one is just random crap, but it's loaded to the frickin' brim. My parents used to own a business, so there is just, desks and chairs and papers. I'm like, why do people feel the need to get a storage shed and then just load it up with things of paper and files and crap? It's like, throw it away. I'm trudging. I'm crawling through seas of stuff and looking all over. I found like baby toys and baby stuff from when I was really little, but I could not find these damn action figures. Never found them, man. I asked my dad, and I'm like, you threw them away, didn't you? He's like, I didn't throw nothing away. Asked my mom, you threw them away, didn't you? I didn't throw nothing away. That would have been your dad. And, no, your mom would have done that. And it's like, oh, I never found them. And
That is stressful.
It sucks.
See, that's the thing. I went through this spurt, and I had, I would say, easily over 100 to 150 minifigures.
Yeah.
3.5 or
Yep.
3 3.75 inch figures.
Yep.
And Kobe knows I am not exaggerating, guys.
No,
I have.
I've seen
many.
most of them.
But there was a time where I had this kind of 2-year purge where it's like you got to force yourself, quit buying toys, put them away.
Right.
Well, we put them in a tote along with my Lego sets, which I had the droid transport.
Yeah, the MTT. That's a good set.
It's still in there somewhere if you want to sort through, but
Yeah.
I know
You think all the pieces are there?
I know all the pieces are there. It's just it's in a massive box with other random ass shit.
Yeah.
But the book's gone. I do know the book is gone.
Yeah, well.
But we can get that
without
online.
it. You can make do without it, but
But any hooser, they got put in the attic, and my attic is. I live in an old farmhouse, so our attics are like on the side.
right.
They're not an actual attic. The upstairs is sort of the attic, but the sides are the attics. And there's the south attic.
Yep.
Which did you know I had 2 attics?
Yeah, we only went in the one.
Because the other one's a pain in the butt to get to.
Right.
Anyway, there's the south attic, and that's where all of our Christmas stuff and like
the stuff you're getting at.
Important attic
Right.
stuff.
The stuff you're getting at every year.
Yeah, and then there is the
Throw it away and never look at it again, attic.
there's the attic that's got stuff in there. There's probably an Annabelle doll in there from the 60s.
Yeah, it's literally one of those ones where it's like
you don't go in that attic. You don't go in that attic.
That stuff's in there to stay. It's not for humans.
It's got an office to get to it,
around.
and then in the office there is, probably 10 Rubbermaid totes of old clothes, and then after you get through all that, there is plywood that is screwed up, and then after you get it off that sheet, there's a door that's locked. You don't go in that attic, but I went in that attic to find these toys after this 2-year purge.
Yeah.
Found a lot of old stuff that I didn't even know we had anymore in there, like tractor toys.
Oh, yeah.
Old, like very expensive.
Even just that stuff, man. I saved some of that stuff. Farm stuff and cars and Hot Wheels. And I wasn't a one-trick pony. I liked all things when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Star Wars was 80% of it, but
yeah,
I had a lot of
and
cool
see,
stuff.
the tractors were more my brother's thing.
Right.
And
I was into farm when I was really little.
Oh,
Had some
yeah.
cool tractors and stuff.
But anyway, I found this tote, and it had probably 60 to maybe 70 of these figures.
Yeah.
And these were not the figures that I was looking for. These were the run-of-the-mill figures, your pretty typical figures. Because at one point in time, I had, like 6 or 7 different Jangos.
Right.
and then I went back down to 2. Still haven't found those other Jankos.
Dude, what is it with when you're growing up? There's always like that one character you don't really necessarily like them that much. Not that you don't like them, but like it's not like your favorite character or anything. But you end up with like 8 of them.
Oh,
you want to know who that was for me? Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, I have so many Obi-Wan Kenobis.
Granted,
also, I
they
have
come in like everything. But I mean,
yeah.
I had.
How many Qui-Gon Jinns do you have?
I didn't have a single. Well, no. I had one. No, I didn't have a single Qui-Gon Jinn. Actually, I did not have a Qui-Gon Jinn.
I have.
That's kind of one of the ones that escaped me a little bit.
I have a Qui-Gon Jinn that has been with me for forever. I mean, since I was 3.
One Obi-Wan, but I didn't have a Qui-Gon Jinn. That's really odd. It's really odd.
I think I had 2. I've had 2 Qui-Gons. Well, the one Qui-Gon came in that original 3-pack with Luke and.
Yep.
And I still have that one from
Yep.
when I played. I mean, this is rookies baseball. So what is that? U6
rookies baseball.
We were at that tournament in Plankington,
dude.
And my parents got me
hitting
that.
me with the memories, man. You're hitting them. You're hitting me too hard.
Anyway,
Stop talking about Star Wars. Focus on the damn game.
Shout out to Wild Hog.
Wild Hog.
But we I've had that one for, I mean, over 10 years, and it's still with me. But naturally, it's a $7 figure. It's went through the run of the mill, and so he no longer has a bottom half of his clothing. It's just
wow. He do be getting stabbed in the torso though.
Yes. But I bought the same one, so anyway, I do have the good Qui-Gon again. But also I have Padawan, Obi-Wan.
Yep, me too.
Episode 2 Obi-Wan.
Well, I don't have anything anymore, but
Episode 2 Obi-Wan, and I think I have like 4 Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan, and then I have, I only have 2 Jango Fett's right now. I used to have more. I'm gonna find them someday. But anyway,
yeah. I actually have 2 surviving toys. I actually have them in my room. There is one of my old, like really old, beat up Obi-Wans. One of my 600 of them, and then a Mace Windu I found. I found those in one of my like toy bins that was still in my room forever, and it was way at the bottom. And I was like, hey, that's kind of cool. So those are kind of like the last of the Jedi.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. They got the rest of them got purged. You don't know.
But I remember I had a really rare Boba Fett toy, and it came from my cousin Kyle.
Yeah,
I stayed at his place the one time, and I was like, "Hey, what do you want for this Boba Fett?" And he was like, "You can just have it."
What?
And I was like,
"That's your reaction every time when you're a kid."
Oh, I know.
Are you sure?
No, I knew what it was. It was probably early 90s vintage. I mean, it was vintage.
Yeah.
Probably early 90s Boba Fett.
Like a remake of the vintage figures that they would come out with. You know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah, it
like,
was
not like vintage, but like they would remake to model after the.
Yeah, and it was like the
ones.
early 90s.
Yeah.
And it was like very gray. It wasn't green. It was gray with the red.
Right.
And I didn't play with that. I didn't dare play with that.
No.
It sat on my headboard.
I will say another thing. I did not have a Boba Fett either. I had Jangos on Jangos, but I did not have a Boba Fett.
I actually have.
There was a lot of original trilogy characters that I was missing, because I will not lie, if I went to get a toy on the shelf, unless it was Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Darth Vader, something like that, I'm going prequel. You know what I mean? I'm going Jedi, I'm going clone. Because I would go and build my figure collection one at a time. I mean, I had some of like the 3-packs and 4-packs, but not many. Most of the time it was one $5 to $7 figure at a time. And I bought a lot of them with my own money. A lot of them were gifts too, but like I would go and I'd have like $10 for some reason. I'd be like, okay, I can get that one and that one. The only time I ever bought like a random one I didn't want was if like one cost, say I had $12 and one cost $7 and one cost $5.
Yeah,
you're like, oh, cool. The
I had a desk.
The Kit Fisto $7. Well, I saw $5 left. I guess I'll get a C-3PO.
Yeah.
You know,
I only had one R2D2.
I'll get a guy that goes, okay, there.
Yeah, I only had one.
I would love that figure.
I only have one R2D2, and it's the Clone Wars R2D2.
I had one R2D2 one of my few ones that came in a big pack.
Oh, really?
That's the only reason I had an R2D2 and a C-3PO, because I would have never really cared to get.
I had that one really cool C-3PO. That's another one that was lost. That it was really metallic gold.
Mm-hmm.
When we talk about that a little bit before we start talking on air,
right.
but I also had Phantom Menace, C-3PO, and then I had a 2-pack that was C-3PO and the Geonosian
the droid,
and you could interswap the heads and everything.
I had that one too, and I was like,
awesome.
So it was so dumb, but it was so cool. I had I'm trying to think of some of the weird ones. I mean, like the Utapau guy, the Tion Medon, the guy from episode 3 was probably my weirdest. Just strange, just like, why do I have this? At what point did I go, I'm going to spend money for this guy? I think he was actually one that came in a pack as well. I think I bought a pack of one that came with, like, an Obi-Wan, him, and a like, Utapau, 212th. I think it was the Airborne guy. I think I had an Airborne trooper. I had a
212 attack battalion. Like the really cool, like Bane looking. Like the one that says, "There's no way anyone could drive that fall."
Yeah, the Airborne trooper.
Yeah,
the one the looks like he has fat rolls on his helmet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are the Airborne troopers. That's the one I had. I had one that's kind. The ones that, not the ones that kill Ki-Adi-Mundi, but the ones that are kind of like the Airborne trooper, but they're that color.
Yeah,
they're that like the maroon color. Not the ones that are like the snow trooper kind of looking ones, the Galactic Marines. But I had one like that. It was like Captain Bakara or whatever. I had him. He was a pretty cool one that I had. That was like one of my first. What's the most? Kind of ended on like just a weird, funny note. What is the 2 questions? What is your favorite Star Wars gift you ever got? And this could be any age. When you're a kid, this could be now. It could be whenever. Doesn't have to be a toy either. Well, we'll make it a toy or some sort of something you're going to like play with.
Yep.
Like you could say like a bath towel or something, or something dumb. But like, any sort of toy. And then what is like just the weirdest, just out of the blue one you ever got? So your favorite, and then the most just like out of the blue you ever got.
Well, my favorite's probably the AT-AT.
Okay.
That is probably the most valuable and the most prized possession thing in my collection.
Right.
So that's probably my favorite. And the most weird, random one that I got.
That one's kind of a tough one because you have to really think back.
Because
and really
weird
stretch
and
the
random
mind
to
grapes.
me is way out there.
Right.
To other people.
It could also be like one you like weren't expecting, like crazy Aunt Judy got this one, or something.
Yeah.
Your crazy Aunt Kathy got me this. That's crazy.
Probably the most random one that I got was it was for Christmas, and my Aunt Tamby actually got it, which is she your aunt or your cousin?
She would technically be my aunt, not by blood or anything.
Right.
Just
but anyway.
Marriage, adoption type of thing.
It was kind of cool. This is another lost soldier that is deeply, deeply, deeply missed.
Yeah, I got a lot of those.
It was Attack of the Clones,
mm-hmm.
Child Boba.
Dude, I also had a Child Boba. Came in a pack with one of the many Jango Fetts I had for
I was
some
not
reason.
expecting that. I wasn't expecting that when I got it.
My Child Boba was in...
Mine was just a single Child Boba, and then I lost it, and I was like, oh, man, I really want Child Boba again. This was right when I was getting back into it or whatever.
Yep.
And my mom bought me a Child Boba, and she's like, I found a Child Boba for you, and I got it. It was at Walmart. And I was like, what? She brings it, and it was a Child Boba, but it was Clone Wars Child Boba. It was still cool.
I think that's the one I had, because he was in the red red suit like from the Clone Wars. So I think it was the Clone Wars Boba.
Oh, mine was in. It looked like Luke Skywalker's like jumpsuit deal
from Episode 5.
Yes, that
Okay.
tan one.
I know what you're talking about.
But it was gray, and he had Django's holster and blasters in it. And also it came with his jetpack, which was weird.
They really like to do like the Jango Fett that we both had with like you piece together all the parts and you could take apart. That was pretty cool, but it was also really weird. Like half of his body was still like didn't have like armor on it. It looked weird, but they were cool. My favorite, I think the weird one actually came to me first, and my favorite is kind of a tough one because I want to go old timey, but it's probably not my favorite now. But like one I just really remember, and I didn't really even want it, but when I got it, it was just so cool because like it was when I was like a freshman in high school. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and say this is my favorite. When I was like a freshman in high school, you know, I was not expecting. My mom always gets me like Star Wars stuff. You know, she gets like stocking stuffers. Like,
yeah.
She got me, you know, like one year she got me all the movies. Well, this was before. This was like right when Force Awakens came out, so it didn't have Force Awakens in it. It was just the main 6. But she got me all those. You know, she gave me stuff like that. You know, candy that was like Star Wars themed, or like, you know, just random
Stormtrooper O's.
Yeah, sure. I mean, just random Star Wars stuff, but not toys. Nothing like to satisfy me in that type of way. But I remember I opened one gift, and it was I went through. I'm a freshman in high school. Like I literally I opened up my my North Face jacket and my new pair of Hey Dudes and like all this stuff that an average 14, 15. I might have been a sophomore, but 15. We'll say I was 15. 15-year-old would like. And I open up this. It's like the last one, and it's the frickin' Force Awakens style Lego Millennium Falcon. I was like, what? Like, because my parents made fun of me all the time because like that was probably when I was in the age where I wasn't quite. I bought Lego was my main thing up until I was probably 13, 14 years old. Right when I got into high school, I would still do it every now and then. Like I'd get a set I really wanted, but like around like my 13-year-old self, I would I'd be spending all my money investing in that kind of stuff. My parents made fun of me all the time. They're like, you know, whatever, that's a kid thing, and they give me shit about it all the time. But you know, there were times when I'd ask for stuff for Christmas, like, hey, I want this, and they're like, we're not getting you that. We're gonna get you something normal, you know?
Yeah.
Get you a car or something. Quit being so weird. I was like, no, I don't want a car. I want the freaking I want the AT-AT, man.
I want the AT-AT, yeah.
That's what I want, man. And
I think I was 8th grader when I got the AT-AT.
But I opened it up and I was like, thank you, this is awesome. Like, you know, my mom got it for me. I was like, this is just cool. She's like, I saw it and figured you'd like it, and I was like, thank you. That one just meant a lot to me. Just like,
yeah,
I didn't even really want it. I'd seen it and I was like, yeah, whatever. I don't need a $130 Millennium Falcon, because at that time I was more into like I was really into Clone Wars and prequels and stuff at that time. So, but like my most out of the blue one, this one just, I don't know why this one just still gets me. It was just such a weird thing. So I got a really cool grandma, like my dad's mom. When I was little, she always just bought me stuff out of the blue. Just like, you know, she lived in Rapid City, which is 4 hours away from where we live, and I would go and we'd visit her when I was younger. She'd always have like a new toy. She had a thing of toys at her house to play with. She had, just as good of toys as I had. Not quite like Star Wars stuff. She had more like, you know, farm stuff and other action figures, He-Man and stuff, just random crap like that. You know, they're probably from the 90s and stuff, but fun stuff to play with. But she'd always buy me something new every time I came because she didn't want me to get bored of the toys. And she told me, she's like, I got a surprise for you. I bought you a Star Wars toy. And I'm like, oh, yes. I'm probably like, 8, 9 at the time. And there was this line of new figures, but they were all over the place. But they were the ones with like the vintage old school back, the cards with like the red stripe. I might even be able to friggin' they're like Kenner remake. Sorry, I gotta type this. I can't focus. but like, they look like the kind of the classic. They still make them too with those same cards. Kind of the classic, like, I'm turning around to show Al, so I might get a little. Oh God damn it! I clicked. Oh, we are. Okay, this is a fake. This one is Darth Fett, so this is a fake one, but it looked like that. You know what I mean? Like the classic Kenner, but remake. And this one had like a red stripe around it or whatever.
Well, I guess I could take that back. One of the most out of the blue ones for me, too, which I kind of forgot about till now. It was one of those Kenner remakes, but it was like there was two of them. They got me both of them. It was my mom and my dad. This when I was young, which I didn't appreciate that much then. I mean, I still loved the crap out of them because I thought they were cool, but they had the concept Boba Fett for me, the all-white one, and then they had a all-white Vader. That was cool.
Yeah, those concept ones were really cool. But so my grandma tells me this, and she's like, she had it was still in the box, and it was in the like the toy closet or whatever, and before she's like, I got it out of this. I went to Kohl's or whatever, and I found this. And she's like, I saw it in this catalog, and I just picked one, and I went and got. Or she looked at the catalog and then went to the store and picked whatever one. She's like, I just picked a random one. I didn't know what she'd like, and she showed me this catalog, dude. I mean, they were all over the place. They were original. They had a line out that was all original trilogy with with the remakes of the cool cards with the Empire Strikes Back and New Hope on it. But then there was also a lot of really good Clone Wars ones in that catalog. The catalog had like 2 whole pages just full. I mean, remember when catalogs used to there was like specific toy catalogs that would come out, and it'd be like 3 whole pages was Lego and 4 whole pages was action figures and then video games and everything. And but like literally it would be like a line of toys would come out, because nowadays they don't even show you half the crap. But it used to be like this figure, and they would lay out all the figures on the pages. So I was looking. I mean, I'm like, no way, Darth Maul, and because I don't know what the figure is yet, and I'm super excited. I'm looking at this catalog, like, ooh, which one did she get? Even though I could have literally just walked around the corner and saw, but I had to like build up the suspense. I'm like, ooh, I bet she got me Darth Maul. Ooh, I bet she got me Darth Vader. Ooh, there's friggin' Kit Fisto and all the, or there's Yavin Ceremony Luke, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, there's so many good figures here. I wonder which one she got. I go back in the closet, and I look, and I'm like. I wasn't, like, mad because, like, whatever, but I was like, I hope Grandma doesn't hear this, but I got it. That bitch got me AT-AT driver. I was like, you could have got me Darth Maul. You could have got me Vader, Luke. I remember there was the Yavin Ceremony Luke, and I'm not even that big on, like, Luke stuff. But I was like, that is cool. I want that Yavin Ceremony Luke. I did end up getting it.
I also have
all sorts. I mean, there was this was at the height of the Clone Wars. This was at, cool original trilogy stuff. They still had, they still made prequel stuff. They still made Jedi and cool stuff. I mean, there was stuff all over, and it was like, she got me AT-AT driver. So then I had to play. I had the one Star Wars toy with all these He-Man and freaking whatever sorts of toys and farm toys, and I had one Star Wars toy, freaking AT-AT driver. That's just one I just remember so vividly. Just something so dumb, but yeah. God, that was nice to talk about Star Wars toys a little bit. It was just to have a blast back from the past.
Yeah. Let us know what your guys' favorite toys are.
Somebody please just email into the show and say something. I really want to read something out to the fans, man.
Yeah.
So if you want to do that, you know where you can find us. You can find us, email us at imperialradio66@gmail.com. That is imperialradio66@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter at imperialradiop1, at imperialradiop1. You can find us on TikTok. You type in Imperial Radio, come right up. I actually just posted a TikTok last night. It did kind of well. Got like 1,400 views and like 100 likes, and it had nothing to do with Star Wars, but it was funny. I'll show you later, Al.
Okay.
But, I post little funny, stupid TikToks. Most of them are about Star Wars on the Imperial Radio. Occasionally they're not, but Facebook and Instagram at Imperial Radio Podcast. That is where we're at. Not a whole lot going on over there these days, but the occasional meme on Instagram and stuff. But that is where you can find us. Email us with questions. We'd love to, you guys email us a question. We'll read it on there. So just want to let you guys know that, if you want to be heard by the best Star Wars podcast in the world, now's your time. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening to us rant for 2 hours almost.
Yeah.
Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we hope you have a great night. And I hope your next toy is not AT-AT Driver. I love you, Grandma. Good night.